Alright, so we have our front, our top, and our right side view. The last thing we need to make on this is we need to use this top right quadrant, and that's where we're going to put our personal information, our drawing information on. So the way we're going to do that is we need 3 lines for information and spaces between each of those lines. So we're going to have a 1/4 inch line with an 1/8 inch space under it, then a 1/4 inch line, 1/8 inch space under it, and a final 1/4 inch line. That way we can have our name, we can have our block number, our block, which is in this case would be block C, and we can have our attempt. Which is, if this is your first drawing, it's attempt number 1. If it's your 4th drawing, it's attempt number 4. Okay. So with a 1/4 plus an 1/8 plus a 1/4 plus an 1/8 plus a 1/4, we need to know what our overall size is so that we can center it in our quadrant up here. So a 1/4 plus a 1/4 plus a 1/4 is 3/4. An 1/8 plus an 1/8 is 1/4. So our total is 1 inch. I'm going to take my ruler, measure how much space I have in that quadrant, which is 3 3/4 inches, and I'm going to find the middle of that. So half of 3 is 3 3/4. So half of 3 is 1 1/2. We have to figure out what half of 3/4 is. If you double the denominator, you get half. So 1 1/2 plus 3/8. Okay. So 1 4/8 is 1 1/2 plus 3/8. Okay, 4 plus 3 is 7. So 1 7/8 is how we're figuring that out. So 1 7/8 is the middle of our block information. So from the top, I'm going to measure down 1 7/8 of an inch. Make a mark there. And then I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch and down a 1/2 inch. For my case here, I'm only going. Okay. So I found the middle at 1 7/8. I'm going to measure up a 1/2 inch, and that's where my drawing information is going to start. Using my T-square and my Ames lettering guide, I'm going to line the top hole up on my lettering guide with that 1/2 inch mark we just made, and then I'm going to go to the 3rd hole, which is a 1/4 inch away, and then I'm going to go right to the 4th hole, which is an 1/8 inch space, and the 6th hole, which is a 1/4 inch space, and so on. Okay, so holding my T-square right where it is, nice and light. Top line, skipping to the 3rd. Then I'm going to the 4th hole, 6th hole, which gave me a 1/4 inch. 7th hole is the 1/8 inch space, and the 9th hole is my last 1/4 inch line for information. Now that I have the drawing information laid out, I can neatly letter that in there, and I can erase my layout lines because I no longer need them to lay out the location of my drawing information. So to do that, we're going to use a couple more tools. We need our eraser shield, an eraser, and a brush to sweep away. We need an eraser shield, an eraser, and a brush to sweep away anything. We don't want to use our hand and wipe our hand across the drawing because that'll smudge lead and make the drawing messy. So I'm going to use my eraser shield just to guard and protect the corners that I don't want to erase. I'm going to go through and erase all those construction lines that I made earlier. You really want to get in the habit of erasing towards the edge of your page, because if you're erasing from the edge towards the middle, you can grab that loose paper and wrinkle the page and rip it off the board, and that'll make you have to start over, because it won't be very neat. Alright, so give the drawing one last look over. We have nice bold object lines. We have our layout lines for our drawing information. And we have 1 inch space between views. All of our views line up. So once you get that lettered, it's ready to turn in.